So, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our new series called PropTech Story. So, in Reality NXT, from the beginning till now, we've been covering all technology solutions that can be provided in the real estate world by showcasing what all companies are there in the PropTech world, not just from India, but also from international markets. So, today, to start up our PropTech series, we have a gentleman whom I personally admire. He could be called as one of the pioneers of PropTech in India, a leader who understood India well and taught us technology is an enabler, but one-to-one connect on the ground with the help of technology can take a company and its people on a different pedestal. So, welcoming Mr. Dhruv Agrawal, the Group CEO of PropTiger, Housing.com, and Makaan.com. Thank you, Dhruv.
Hi Kritika, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for joining us for our new series called PropTech Story. And we have got so many questions for you. I believe you might have to go down the memory lane, the kind of questions we have framed today for you.
Thanks very much for having me on this. I'm delighted to be here.
Great. So, before I start asking the questions for the current times, I wanted to know, when I look at your journey, I see your start with your partners, then News Corp funding as the next milestone, followed by the Makaan.com acquisition, and then, of course, graduating to Group CEO, bringing Housing.com in your fold. We would love to know how this journey happened and what transpired in these 9 to 10 years.
Well, look, Kritika, I think it's a great question. However, I think very short time to cover, a journey which sort of has, extended over 9 to 10 years. But look, what I'd like to say essentially is that, the journey has been nothing short of accelerating. I've really had a, great time and had a lot of fun, doing what I'm doing. Look, like any startup, we've had our, moments of, ups and downs, but sort of we've lived through both and come out strong. I would say that one of the most difficult moments for me during this entire journey was when my co-founders actually left the business to pursue their other interests. It's not easy when someone who you sort of sat down together with, ideated, and laid the foundation of a company. When they decide to move on, it's never easy. So it was one of my most difficult moments. But of course, as always, with every difficult moment, you learn from it and come out stronger. I think one of my highlights, during this journey was, when News Corp actually approached us to from the point of view of putting in capital, and then when they actually, did the diligence, met us, everything, and decided to come in with their check of $30 million back in 2014, which was a very large sum of money. Look, I'd like to say that I think I've had some, key learnings. One of them has been persistence. I think, you have to keep at it. You will have difficult moments. You will have, times when you believe the business is not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And you just have to keep coming, going at it and ensuring that you never give up. I think that's very important. Second thing, I think what I've learned is it's very important to get the right co-founders on board or senior team members on board. But it's a long journey at the end of the day. It's been close to 9 years or just over 9 years, and there's still a long way to go. So unless you're in it with people whose company you enjoy, you like to see them at work, it's going to be a big drag. So it's important to find the right people. I think the third thing which I've learned is just the ability to experiment. You've got to keep trying new things, whether it's in terms of new products, looking at new verticals, even looking at acquisitions, and also realizing that some of these experiments you do, some will work, some will not. But the idea, again, as I said, is to learn from your failures and then, move on to the next experiment and the next trial. So I would say, in short, it's been a very exciting journey. Obviously, lots of things, we could have done better. But frankly, as I stand here, 9 years hence, I would say no regrets, really. It's been great.
That's great. So on the day 1 when you started PropTiger, what was the vision and how much has it really evolved by today?
Look, our vision when we started out was to help, every Indian family buy their dream home. As you know, buying a home is one of the most expensive, or if not the most expensive purchase decision
Yeah.
any family makes anywhere in the world. It's also a decision which you make maybe once or twice in a lifetime. So it is a highly emotionally charged, decision. It's a decision where people, involve not just themselves but family members, friends. But it is an expensive purchase decision. Also, what happens is that when you're buying something so expensive, you naturally tend to be a little bit more cautious. So trust becomes a very, very important factor. From our perspective, we talk about delivering trustworthy experiences to our customers that they will cherish for a lifetime. And I think whatever vision we started out with 9 years ago, I think we've stuck to it. Business models might have pivoted, brands might have changed, technology would have evolved, but the core vision of delivering a trustworthy experience to an Indian family looking to buy their dream home is the core of our vision, and it remains intact.
So, as I was saying in my introduction, also, you guys had a remarkable journey, right? I think you would be the first person, I would say, correct me if I'm wrong, during the time when no one was trying to take technology on the forefront when it comes to real estate. And you guys have been there from the beginning, and now, of course, more players have entered in this market. So, how do you differentiate your products, your companies, in comparison to your competitors right now?
Look, we've always been a technology and product first company. It's been our ethos to continue to use technology in the field of real estate. As we know, although we've acquired Housing.com and we've imbibed the ethos of that company, Housing was also known for being the technology leader in real estate. So we continue to move forward with that. I think in a post-COVID world where we've seen, and right now in the midst of it, where we are seeing a humongous adoption of digital platforms across all categories, I think the use of technology in the space of real estate will become even more important. And we continue to invest in our technology teams, our product teams, our design teams, to ensure that we are able to deliver the most the best experiences, not just for consumers but also for our developer partners, broker partners, and the entire ecosystem.
So I would like to know, I know this would be quite personal to you. So how would you differentiate between your companies as per your babies? Like PropTiger has a unique model, but how would you differentiate between Housing.com and Makaan.com model?
Okay, Makaan and Housing have a very different sort of audience base and audience profile, and they're very complementary to each other in terms of their geographical strengths, the customer segments they serve, and taken, as a combination, I think we are able to deliver to our consumers and customers, whatever they are looking for. So Housing and Makaan work very closely together, as I said, because they are hugely complementary to each other and help us to deliver to any customer the best they're looking for.
So in the last 10 years, you have seen technology evolving. Your acquisition pattern says that you are focused more on giving your endeavors on, edge by using technology in the right way. So when I say that, what was the vision behind acquiring 3D5 and the out of the box? How much of that vision was fulfilled?
So look, both 3D5 and out of the box was essentially were acquisitions which we made to kind of bring in technologies in-house, which would enable customers to experience a home, without visiting it, whether it's through, walkthroughs, 3D visualizations, smart videos, etc. It was also with the idea of providing our developer customers a tool that would allow them to eliminate the need for a sample flat, which is a very expensive proposition for them.
Right.
And I would say that, several years hence, I think the acquisitions have worked out very well for us. They're a fundamental, whatever offerings they had, form a core piece or a fundamental piece of our service offering to consumers as well as our developer and broker customers. And now, in the times of COVID, when people are hesitant to go out for site visits, meet with each other, I think these platforms are enabling us to provide walkthroughs, videos, 3D visualizations to consumers so that they are able to make decisions about at least shortlisting a home, if not making a decision to buy from the comfort of their living room. So, net, both these acquisitions were core to what we were, planning to do,
Right.
and have been, very good in terms of delivering on their promise.
So you've been visionary from the beginning till now. Like during lockdown, people are now coming up with new technology to try to, do their sales and everything. You've been like, I would say you have visualized it beforehand that this situation might ever come. That's why you need these immersive technologies, or like, how did this whole thing came up that we need such technology also in the real estate?
Look, I think these technologies, to be very frank and honest, were out there, and being used globally. And just given the fact that a lot of commerce was moving online, and people were increasingly going to the digital medium to begin their property search journey, it only made sense for us to provide those. So, data shows that 70% of real estate searches today are initiated online. So it becomes very, very crucial to provide these immersive technologies as you described them, so that consumers can smartly, search for the home they are looking for in the comfort of their homes, and basically shortlist one or two properties, which then they can go and visit and then make a purchase decision. See, in the past, what used to happen without these technologies, people found it very difficult to do efficient shortlisting, and
Yeah.
ended up spending a lot of their time and sometimes even on weekends, which is family, to go out and visit multiple properties. Now, I think with the help of these technologies, that requirement will considerably go down, and people can effectively use these to come up with one or two properties which they like, which they can ultimately, make their final decision. I fundamentally believe that these technologies will not end up replacing the site visit, unless you're an investor, where you sort of made a call based on, what the price trends are and what you expect in terms of a return, and don't really intend to stay there. I think for most end consumers, given the fact that it's a very, very important purchase decision, people would want to visit at least once, before they buy a home. So I would say that these technologies are a great complement to the entire process of buying a home, and not meant to entirely replace, the physical attribute of, going and actually seeing a property.
So, what do you think about the PropTech industry? Like currently, what I've seen and spoken to other PropTech companies, during the lockdown, the demand of their technology has risen up. They have started getting that kind of interest from the real estate developers where they had to chase them. It was during the lockdown, it has been the wide. So, what do you feel during this lockdown? How PropTech industry after even post COVID will be emerging in India, especially because, as you said, in global market, there are already technologies coming in. They've been there in the past also, but in India, somehow we haven't. I would say a bit back when it comes to technology, especially in real estate. So, what is your take on that?
See, look, you're right. I think, technology adoption has been slower in real estate, in comparison to other categories. But, as I mentioned earlier, Kritika, that, during this lockdown, we've seen that people have used technology in a way they've never used it before.
Right.
I think in no point in history were probably a billion children, learning online.
Yeah.
Again, billions of professionals using video conferencing and other tools to actually go about their business. People actually even doing online health consultations.
Yeah.
Of course, not to mention, ordering basics such as grocery and essentials online. So I think with this extended lockdown period, using technology and tech platforms have become a matter of habit, given the number of days we've been through it. And a digital adoption curve, which was slow, right, or not so steep, for real estate, will also suddenly become very, very steep. As I mentioned to you earlier, that 70% of real estate searches in any case are initiated online. And I will only see that, and we'll only see that number go up as we move along. I think just the comfort which people would have built, using tech tools, using digital platforms, and the trust they would have, learned to repose in this medium, would have gone to another level. So real estate, I think, is one of those sectors which will definitely benefit from this sort of general acceleration in tech adoption. And to your point, many folks, whether they were developers or brokers, who are a little reluctant to use technology, would now be more than eager to do that, given that they themselves during this lockdown would have experienced the power of using technology.
For sure. So the demand of prop tech, especially in India, we can see a rise happening.
Absolutely. I think, I was speaking to someone the other day and I mentioned that I think prop tech has not seen the kind of capital flow that other sectors have seen in the last 5 or 6 years. And prop tech generally has not seen many startups either. And I think that primarily has been because of difficulties in the underlying sector, which is real estate. And I think that, given that real estate cycles tend to be long, we've had a long, almost 7-year down cycle in real estate. And post-COVID, I think when things may continue to be somewhat tepid over the next 6 to 12 months. But post that, once the economy, starts to come back, I think real estate can be expected, to see an upcycle, which I think will last for a very long time. And I think prop tech companies will benefit from that tailwind. And we'll see a lot many more startups in this space, along with a lot more capital coming into this space.
That's great. So going forward, how you and your team are preparing to create an edge for yourself when it comes to technology to propel your business growth? Like we have discussed how PropTech has been doing, but what your companies has been doing in terms of when it comes to technology for your business growth?
Look, I think it's a mindset that every company needs to have. And one needs to look at how they see their relationship vis-a-vis technology, product, and design. We as a company have, as I said, have always been tech-led and product-led. And our fundamental belief is that in order to create efficiencies as well as drive superior consumer experience, you need to have technology as a foundation. So from our perspective, we've never been more excited than we are today, just given the rapid rate of digital adoption. So we will continue to spend money on building technology, building new products. And we've launched several new products, during, this COVID time itself. For example, we've built an entire end-to-end online booking engine. If you want to, see a home online, experience it using 3D visualizations, make a booking and make a payment, you can do all of that. We organize several webinars for our developer customers and invited consumers to join in, where they can learn everything about a property in these webinars. We've also gone and done live drone shoots of actual developer sites in these webinars. So you can see exactly what the state of construction is, what a sample flat might look like, and so on and so forth. And then actually be able to transact once you've got all the information that you wanted. We've introduced rent payments for tenants. If they want to make a payment to a landlord using their credit card, they can do that. Especially given that credit card moratoriums are right now there to help people tide over this financial crisis. I think it's a great tool to provide to tenants as well as to landlords. We are introducing online rent agreements as well, where you can digitally consummate a rental transaction by signing an agreement, online. Plus many tools, for our agents as well as our own sales agents at PropTiger, as well as for our developer partners, where you can, at the click of a button, get onto a live video conference, with a consumer and talk about a property. So these are some of the tools that we've launched literally, in a span of 30 days, within the COVID period. And as we go forward, we have a big roadmap in terms of, what to do over the next few years. Of course, you'll see them, as they get launched. I don't want to talk too much about it, but frankly, the goal is that we are all ready to take advantage of what some people are not even calling it the new normal, but the next normal, as we don't know what's in store for us.
Right.
I think technology is going to play a key role.
So I've always admired your journey, your whole entrepreneur journey, because as you were discussing about the technologies and the things, the new solutions you're coming up with, I think the only few things which right now Housing and PropTiger is not involved is more on the mandate business, which everyone is taking upon. So will we be seeing you entering into mandate business or marketing and sales as well, for exclusive or for your developers?
Look, a mandate business is not really a tech business, as you know.
Yeah.
It's basically getting into an exclusive arrangement, with the developer to become quote unquote a sole selling, agent for that, particular product. I think for us, given our capabilities as a company, across so many of the one of the biggest challenges when you take on a mandate, from a developer, is the ability for you to generate demand for that project. I mean, it's straightforward for anyone to go and sign a mandate. I think what becomes the most challenging is, can you fulfill the mandate successfully by driving demand for that particular project? Now, given the fact that we have three platforms, housing.com, makaan.com, and proptiger.com, which between themselves, have the largest audience, if I were to kind of hazard that guess, in India today, in terms of number of, consumers visiting us, our ability to drive demand, for a particular project, is probably amongst the best. So for us, we feel very comfortable that, if we were to enter the mandates business, we would be successful at handling those mandates. However, my view on mandates is that one has to be very careful, because it is like I'd like to say like a movie business, hit and miss. Certain mandates might be hugely successful, many mandates might fail, and it's very important from a reputation perspective to ensure that the mandates you take on, you deliver upon, because it's important that if a developer trusts you to sell their period of time, you deliver on that trust and promise. So, net, I think as an organization, given our experience with PropTiger, Housing, Makaan, we have the ability to deliver successfully on a mandate, and we might consider doing that in times to come. But as I said, it's really important to ensure that we are successful at what we do.
Right. So no, why I was saying that, because you're already providing so many solutions, right? And I agree to the fact mandate is about, having those sales figures also to talk and generate those leads. But also now it's become like, if a mandate is given to someone, they start from the beginning, from the brand building to creating a lot of digital technologies, from creating the leads, everything. So I feel maybe later how will be entering this market, we can see that happening soon, or it will be like, let's wait and watch how this business is going to play for other players in the market.
So look, as I said, all the tools required, to do a mandates business, as I told you, is with us. So it's a question of time and the right. We have a plate full today in terms of doing a lot of work on building new products. So in due course, we will probably consider that as well.
So tell me, the tech end-to-end solutions that you provided for the consumer, even for the webinars which you had just told me about, how has the consumers been responding to all this during, especially in this lockdown? Because today only I was just reading how many sales house buying has happened in Kalyan. Like a lot of people have actually went ahead and bought a lot of houses in Kalyan. So do you see what was the response from the consumer? And do you see the lockdown is not stopping consumer behavior and purchasing the real estate right now?
So look, as I mentioned to you, I think the consumer's hand was also forced by the lockdown. See, a decision to buy a home is a long-term decision. It's not a short-term impulsive decision that you make. So, if you sort of spend time kind of figuring out that, look, there is a need for you to buy a home, I think you will sort of go ahead and, make that decision. Now, because of COVID, there could be certain disruptions, whether it's your job, salary. There could also be a general sort of uncertainty about what the future is going to hold for you. So you may temporarily put that decision on hold, but that doesn't mean you completely stop searching for the property, right? So
Right.
what we found a lot of interest, for the webinars we've held. We've had, close to, on average, 1,000, consumers plus for every webinar, which we hosted, with our developer partners. And webinars, actually, I've attended many of them. And, just putting myself in the consumer's shoes, they pretty much answer everything I would need answered, even if I were to physically go to a site.
Yeah.
All the way the developer presentation to frequently ask questions about pricing, amenities, what's happening in the neighborhood, and multiple other things. And plus, with all the drone shoots, walkthroughs, etc., pretty much the experience which you would want at a site is recreated in the webinar itself.
Right.
So I think, given the fact that consumers during the lockdown could not go out, and now they are reluctant to go out, given that the virus is still sort of the infections are only going up. I
Yeah.
think this is a great tool for developers to be able to continue to do their business. It's a great mechanism for consumers who want to buy a home and need to do their research, irrespective of whether they buy today or 6 months down the line. I think it serves as a great platform for everyone to continue doing what they are doing, and even for us included, as a channel partner. I think it's a great intermediation tool again that we provided to our consumers, as well as our customers, like developers. So I think all in all, it's worked very well for us. And what I want to say, Kritika, is that this is going to be an integral part of our strategy going forward as well. It's
Okay.
not just something which we're going to continue during the COVID period, because we fundamentally believe that it's a much more efficient way of actually conducting a transaction. What happens is there are many things which we believe in, want to try, and we don't try because, why fix something which ain't broke, right? That's sort of the mindset everybody has.
Yeah.
But what COVID has done, it's forced us into experimenting and trying new things. And we've learned that there are better ways of doing things, more efficient ways of doing things, smarter way of doing things.
Right.
And given that everybody's been through these new ways of doing things for a long period of time, I think these new methods are here to stay.
I completely agree with you on that. Like technology in India, as we discussed, was not going that fast forward when it was, with regards to real estate. But now slowly people are opening their mindset that this is here to stay. Either you be on that ship or you be sinking, because people have to come up with the solutions to, even not just for selling of the houses, but even to connect with the consumers. Because these times, till the time the vaccine does not come, you need to come up with these solutions to make sure your customers are there, your brand is also connected to them.